What's up, YouTube? So I'm sitting down for once and having some sliced apples. So yes, I do pack my lunch. I don't actually pack it. April packs my lunch every day for me, which saves money. And I'm eating healthier at 50, going to be 51 or 52, I don't remember. So last night, I was watching one of the news channels on YouTube, and I watch a lot of YouTube. Thank you, YouTube. The senators were talking about how that they're making the ball, keeping the ball moving and rolling, and trying for an 80% success rate for the right to vote. So the right to vote for a presidential election is a U.S. citizen right. And they've been taken to court by people who are trying to undermine what they're doing and saying, hey, if you're in China, you can vote in the United States for, the upcoming election. And they were saying how important it is for anyone who wants to be in the United States to be a U.S. citizen and the features and benefits that you get from that. And I didn't think about that at first. Like, hey, I was born in the United States, right? So I'm already a U.S. citizen. But what if you're not from the United States, and we're just going to say Venezuela or China or wherever you're from, and you wind up here on a temporary visa or a green card or whatever the case may be, whatever the system allows for you to come over here and dip your toe into the puddle. So when it becomes the Great Lake for you is when you become a U.S. citizen. So what they're saying is some powers that be in different states and the federal government have miscommunication on what it really is to be a U.S. citizen. Their goal is for you to become a U.S. citizen so you can get a social security number and you can start paying your sales tax, paying your dues, and being part of the Team USA, right? You're part of a club, you're part of a team. If you come here from China or wherever your country is and you're just here, why should you receive any benefits that the U.S., the United States citizens have? You don't deserve that, is what they're saying. They're saying you can vote for your school council and the mayor and all that crap, and that's a different scenario. When you're talking about voting for a presidential election, you have to be a U.S. citizen and you have to prove it. So now we're talking about what they're doing in certain states to say, hey, you cannot vote, and we're just going to say this is your driver's license. It says if you don't have the right credentials, they're not allowing you to vote for the presidential election. And I think this is a good thing for everyone. What makes somebody who hasn't paid their dues, right? Paid their dues, has a social security number, has a driver's license number, has an EIN number, has everything that the United States is made up of, right? What gives them the right to health care, social security, Medicaid, food stamps, housing, blah, 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 blah? Nothing. You're entitled to nothing. That's my opinion. And this is kind of what these state senators were saying is like, if you want the features and benefits of being a United States citizen, then you have to do the time if you come here. You have to go through the system. You have to get registered. You have to go say the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag or whatever it is, and you have to get that handshake and commitment that says, I love the United States. I am here for the United States. And they gave an example, like if you're from Venezuela or whatever, and you're coming to the United States and you've been here for 20 years and you never got your citizenship, well, you're not doing it the right way. You're not doing it the right way. And I assure you that they're getting the benefits of what the government has to offer or the states have to offer, but that's not the right way. So I learned a lot last night, and I didn't realize how some of these senators who actually are married to migrants or immigrants or people from other countries, but they all went through the system, right? And there's many senators who aren't born United States people or married to born United States, and they speak multiple different languages. But what they did is they followed through, and they did it the right way, and I think that's very important. So, and I could be wrong on what my mind is translated as is that they are trying to get every state to do this when it comes to a presidential election because they know, the senators, there's so much corruption. And I didn't know. Did you know that like they have leaders or people who are in charge of the polls, and they get bonuses and commissions on how many people actually go in there and vote?
I didn't.
So I learned that too last night, which was pretty interesting. A lot of stuff that I sit home at night and learn about. So what this was about, and Caleb probably doesn't know that the federal government and the states have a disconnect on what a United States citizen is. So the senators in certain states have challenged the law and the court system and says, hey, if you're born here, you're a U.S. citizen. There's really nothing you need to do. But if you're coming from another country, and just pick one, you can say the fucking moon. I don't care what you say. Mm-hmm. If you're born on the moon, you're coming to the United States. That means you aliens, right? That means you need to get your butt to the immigration center and sign yourself in and go through the progress and swear yourself to the United States and get yourself United States citizenship. They're saying that certain states are allowing people who are not U.S. citizens to vote for a presidential election, which is against the law. Federal says they use a word that kind of makes it universal, but where in the states are saying, hey, there's language that says, and it comes down to language, and they've been taken to court and saying, hey, there's parties trying to stop this from happening in the states. The state senators are saying, we've been to court multiple times, and we've won at the highest levels of judicial, saying, hey, we are correct. If you want to vote for a presidential election, you have to prove that you're a United States citizen. You have to have all the documentation. And what they were saying is the government and the state were giving people the paperwork, and they were getting the wrong paperwork when they were going through the process. Like, they would come into the United States and they would get all this paperwork, and they weren't entitled to that paperwork yet. So they were entitled to the privileges, even though they never followed through. Never got a driver's license, never got a social security number, been here 20, 30 years, working, not working, still getting the perks of what we have to offer, right? Because there's such a disconnect. And then I was like, wow, I'm like, if I put this into my brain here, and I say, well, they're talking 20 million people or more already here this year. Illegal, non-illegal, and they're just shoveling our money at them. Not registered. You seen the TikToker who they deported, right? He came over here, was getting welfare, food stamps, bragging on TikTok to go out there and squat and tell on his people and his followers what to do and how to milk the system without having to be in the system. And he was supposed to be here getting on the system. When he came here, he had 30 days to meet back to wherever he was supposed to be. You had 30 days to do what you had to do. But you had to report back to say, hey, I'm staying here as a United States citizen and I need to get through the process. And that's how ISIS got his ass. Or whatever it's called. So they got him. But he was getting TikTok money, free government money, free housing, food stamps. Dude was doing better than me and you, Caleb. They got him. They sent him back. They said, oh yeah, well guess what you didn't do? You've been here over 30 days. You never reported back. You never met the guidelines and you're out. And this is what they're saying. If you want to be here, you need to go through the process. And there's classes and stuff for people who come over here. It's set up for you to do it the right way. And then you can vote for the presidential election. And they're saying that you can go and vote as a non-U.S. citizen for your local tax assessor or the school board or this and that, because it's not really a United States citizen thing for you to vote for those kind of things. So they're saying, well, you can still vote, but you can't vote for a presidential election if you're not a United States citizen. Mm-hmm. And I agree. What's stopping people from all around the world is saying, well, I'm just going to fly over to United States and I'm just going to vote for somebody today and I'm just going to go back and I don't give a shit. And then the election officials who set these people up get bonuses on how many people they get in there to vote. And I already heard that they were dragging homeless people, bums, and drug addicts and giving them money and food, and on their way there filling up buses of people who are feeding. They're feeding on the system. They're not even part of the system, but they're United States citizens. Mm-hmm. But they said if you don't have a driver's license, you don't have the right criteria, you're not in the system. What they're doing is trying to get that straightened out, and the states are saying they're. When they're bringing this to their Congress or whatever they're doing, however that all works out there, Capitol Hill, wherever, and they're saying, 80% are saying, this is what we want. We want a tight system. We don't want anyone voting for a presidential election unless you have the right documents, and that's that. And kudos to them. I agree. So then they're hoping by November that they can have this all shored up. So their goal right now, these guys are smart, they're educated. Some of them are not even from our country, but they went through the system and became American citizens. You know, and it's a pride thing too. Like, you know, once you do this, you're part of the big team now. So I just learned that last night. It's pretty cool. Does anyone else watch that? But I learned a lot about that. But when I think about, you hear 10 million people, migrants and immigrants, come here, and all the money, all the free money, all our hard-working taxpayer United States citizens been grinding it out every day. Feed that to, and we can't even feed our own people. If the federal government walked by 800 people sitting on the street in tents, you think they would offer them lunch? Absolutely not. They would walk right by them like they were a bird stain on the concrete. But if it was a migrant, they'd be handing them out where to go, food stamps, bus stamps, airline tickets, right? Mm-hmm. Shaking their hands, say, welcome to the United States. Hurry up and get on the system. And then if you don't get on the system, because most people are so lazy, right? They're never going to do it because they've already been told how fruitful the United States is and how easy they are to give away taxpayers' money. So, vote smart. Thanks for watching.